Okay, welcome to episode 71 of my 248k run with a 10 times science multiplier on a ribbon world, standing around in kind of the space I still haven't concreted. I was thinking about concreting this, and then didn't, because there was just a bunch of other stuff to do, so I'm just standing around on the dirt with my kind of core rail station next to my lodging wall stuff, and everything is just in the sand. Oh well. Yeah, a bunch of stuff happened between episodes. I think we're gonna probably have more time passing as we're getting into the kind of the late game stuff. Oh, there's the rocket going up. Exciting. With just more things to do. And just more time to pass between episodes, where we're kind of getting the lithium fusing nearly done, and some of those labs aren't running. Why are labs not running? Red science? I'm short of red science. I've got blue science banked up here, and I've got yellow science banking up into the train, which I don't like. I'd rather be using it. But it looks like red and green sciences are the ones that I'm actually not super surprised about, because we built these ones a while ago and didn't put any beacons in here, so let's just slap some beacons in there, and those aren't going to be super well ratioed. This is going to give me more red science than I care about, but also whatever. But also that's in the other grid, isn't it? Yeah, we've split these grid here to manage bot build distances, which means we actually need to take, like, this grid doesn't have these beacons. Bots are complaining about not having a bunch of rails. Okay, because another thing we kicked off is we got some more of this rail building over here, because I wanted to get to the water, but I don't know if I want that anymore for different reasons. And yeah, so we're building some big grid out here, and we need to give this grid some more rails and some more signals. More rails and more signals. Yeah, okay. So, we've kind of not actually fixed that science problem, but we've kind of ghosted a fix to the science problem. Let's wander back to the build train and give that other grid the rails and the signals it needed, and hopefully it has a lot of everything else. And yeah, lots of logibots doing things. That is kind of foreboding. Yeah, you just go back over there, and then yeah, the immediate medium-term goal is still red chips. For which we're kind of scaling into the rest of the stuff. Last time we put together, I've got some radar coverage now. I don't have radar coverage of the fluid stations, but oh well, these guys still don't have all the beacons they need. This is also in a different grid, so we can't just actually it was the same grid. That was the same grid that was asking for the rail parts. I could have done that. Oh well. So we've got trains loading ceramics. One of the interesting disadvantages of this setup is at the point when one of these stations is full, the ceramics production drops to half, which I'm still kind of okay with. Like, I think that's going to be an easier thing to manage than having both of these manage to mix onto both trains. And also this one is just done now, so it's fine. Where are all these trains at? They're just like, yeah, running around the place delivering ceramics. That's fine. And somewhere down, yeah, also just in the radar coverage is a star engine stuff we were thinking about. Changing my mind about how we're going to do that, and I actually want to logimol a bunch of things first. What else happened? Oh yeah, a couple of other things happened in between episodes that I kind of took care of. Somewhere, yeah, down here in the station that's doing the hot and cool lead coolant for the ceramics. It's making steam on site. We now have this kind of backup lithium and backup protium supply. And these ones are configured correctly this time, as opposed to the ones that we did not configure correctly. So they've got a lot of fuel. This one's doing power grid stuff as well. Power grid is pretty happy. Yeah, this train now has a more reliable way out because we built the rest of, okay, not all of this grid. Can we? Oh, these guys are still. These three are still running. We could put the rest of this thing in, if we could. It looks like I've used the wrong. At some point, I used the wrong blueprint there. Oh well, but it's still got ways. These other trains, we've got more of this grid, and this is where this is where the old linear base used to be, and it's now just grid stuff. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, the other thing to mention is all the way back over at the other power plant, found a funny thing. Yeah, this was the thing we had to fix kind of urgently previously, and it's now super happy and it's got everything that it needed. But one of the issues that I discovered is that over here, probably when I've been copying and pasting these turbines, there's a train station in here that was requesting fission fuels. I think it's the copy-pasted version of this thing that rotated to over here, and so part of my problem was that sometimes, yeah, and then I had to like catch it and find it and remove the train that would send the train back to the rest of the schedule. But that rogue train station was why some of these fusion reactors were struggling for fuel sometimes, because the train was just getting stuck in a place where there was nothing to offload. So there was that, and then the other thing that happened in between episodes, actually, let's do the other thing first. We're going to pivot between a bunch of different things. I actually want silos, and the easiest way to get silos, I mean, I haven't automated silos. You're going to bring me a bunch of stuff to make a silo? Yes. And then the other thing I want is also in the fission stage? Is it in the fusion stage? I want the thermochemical... Yeah, thermochemical separators. Bring me a bunch of these, because we're going to do stuff with that as well. Is this everything? This is... Can I now make... Yeah, so we'll make another 2 silos. I haven't automated silos. I mean, I'll say it's because they're expensive, but I have fully automated Star Engine parts, and they're more expensive, so whatever. I probably could automate silos and not worry about it. You're still getting a bunch of blue chips delivered. Okay, fine. The other thing that changed is I've now also kind of just below the RCUs kludged in this rock quarry that just puts rock in the logistics network and makes a landfill in a kind of dedicated way, and then also requests rock parts out. So this is also the recycling for the rock system. We don't need to worry about recycling the drills because they just go on trains anyway. And that also means that one of these stations, the stone station, wherever it used to be, is, yeah, no longer a stone station. It's just, yeah, we're no longer bringing stone in with trains and putting it in the Chaos Logistics Mall. We're just going to make those on site. You guys have got... You're still delivering blue chips. Why are you taking so long delivering blue chips? Maybe I have something where... Actually, let's check the modules upgrade node, because I've got a suspicion that, yeah, that is not something that should be there. We should just be putting... Because I didn't think I was putting blue chips into the network at any of the blue chips manufacturing hubs, but putting these... Let's have some lamps in here. But yeah, I wondered whether the module upgrades was a place where I was putting a bunch of blue chips into the logistics network, which is going to take, much longer. Anyway, hopefully these guys are still delivering. Okay, fine. Yeah, so thinking about Star Engine, thinking about how I'm going to set up the next part of the red chips, actually, yeah, let's put this, not that guy, this guy, red chips. So we've kind of got a bunch of ceramics set up. Plastics are going to be another big deal because we need to, massively scale the petrochem again. Electronic circuits, just regular green circuits, I think are going to be the next major thing I redo. And I've got it thinking about a way that I want to do that. And we still kind of... Do I have leftover blue circuits in my inventory? No, I got to wait for these. Unlucky. Yeah. Okay, now we can have... no, we can't, because we were actually low on electric engines. Okay, fine. Put this thing back. Request... How many more electric engines? Like another 150? And I'm just waiting on electric engine production. That's interesting. That's a thing we're going to have to deal with later for reasons. Yeah. So the rest of the green chips plan we're going to do Star Engine. I wanted to figure out how to use Star Engine to make all the copper and all the iron for electronic circuits, because that will nicely reduce the number of trains we need. There's a bunch of other stuff to do before that, though, kind of leading into that, for which I need some new train stations and also some new space for Logimore stuff. And I think this over here looks like the next kind of semi-logical place to be putting a bunch of Logimore stuff. So how did these line up previously? It was just kind of, it was also with a bunch more charging stations. Okay, so we're gonna not throw those charging stations in because these other stations are in the way. Never mind. Okay, fine. We're just going to go and slap in a bunch more Logimore stuff. Like starting here, I reckon that is a decent place for it. These don't have recipes, that's fine. Are these going to tile nicely out to... oh wait, that one... yeah, there is a little bit of weirdness to the way these poles line up. We can go... are you going to get powered by... okay, does that actually work fine? Yeah, so here's the next space where we're just going to Logimore a bunch of things, because we've got some things to Logimore. Yeah, because what were the things I wanted to Logimore? It was actually a bunch of Coverix and nuclear stuff. I decided that nuclear was going to be back on the menu after being taken off the menu. So we've got all of the like the regular nuclear processing down here, but the thing that I realized we didn't have, actually it might be easy to find from this way. If we look at, yeah, we don't have anywhere where we are processing consumed uranium fuel rods, even though we're making them, because they come out of, I think, the thorium. I also didn't realize we had quite this much uranium ore just sitting around in the logistics network. I don't think I want it in the logistics network. But then we've also got, yeah, this uranium-233, which I think we're processing all the way down here. I think we're making those into fuel cells. Yeah, we're making these things into fuel cells. We're making 235 into fuel cells. We are not making MOX fuel cells anywhere. And we also don't have any income for uranium-238. And we are also not reprocessing the stuff that's coming out of... yeah, we're not reprocessing the uranium-233 pellets, fuel pellets, either. So I think we're going to set all of that up. So first thing that I wanted to make, fission stage. We're talking about fission stuff again. Yeah, high-energy MOX fuel rods. We don't have these being manufactured anywhere yet. And one of the things about this is these are one of the components we need to make train parts. Although I suspect... if I look at how many of these things I've got, yeah, I've already got 80 of these in the network, which is not a whole lot, but is still quite a few, especially as each train nuclear power plant gets me 6. So I've got enough for about another 240 trains. Never mind, we're automating those anyway. The other thing we wanted to do was, it was actually, I need centrifuges for these, don't we? Yeah, the nuclear fuel processing is fine. The centrifuges can go here, because then we can use this to reprocess the uranium. Which one of these? Uranium-233 fuel rods? Yeah. Yes. And then we can just, yeah, so we've got a backlog of these to work through, which is fine. I think for reasons we might end up, I don't know if we're going to need this or not, but let's also reprocess consumed high-energy MOX fuels as well. I mean, worst case, it sits around and does nothing because we don't spend... because when we use these for the train superchargers, it just goes into the recipe. Where is it? This one here. Yeah, it just goes into the recipe. We don't get a spent one out. But if we end up using these MOX fuels, and we might, then... yeah, then we might need a way of reprocessing them. And so part of this is also let's continue to make sure that we have train parts. Let's continue to make sure that we have nuclear weapons capabilities, even though biters are turned off, because we want to act as if biters are still on. We're just, in practice, not going to... Yeah, trains going past, rockets launching, that's all pretty good. So the disadvantage of all of this is none of this is actually getting brought in and processed, because we kind of stopped all those trains. And this nuclear fuel train, I do want this nuclear fuel train, but we also repurposed that to a drills train, which is also important, but not a thing we're doing right now. And then this train, yeah, this station over here is the one that's not running, and I don't even think wants to run like this. I think we're going to run this differently. I think so. We'll just get rid of my personal bots are off, which is fine, and then yeah, we'll just run all of this differently. We do want some uranium processing. We do want some Covrix somewhere, but I think what we're going to do is, can we do this kind of thing? And then, did I? No, I didn't. I could have kept some of those. Where did I just put these centrifuges? Here, these centrifuges. Yeah, I could have kept some of these centrifuges, and just so we could have put the modules and recipes and things like that in them, because we do want to do some uranium processing. We also want this to be... Is this going to... Yeah, this is going to have enough... This is going to have enough... These two chests between them are going to have enough to empty out a train of material. So yeah, so this is going to be we're not going to run this, we're going to run this with uranium ore less than, say, 200, because I don't think we need a lot of this, and that's going to be 4 stacks, and it's also only checking these 2 boxes, and then this way of unpacking things will mean that these go last, which is fine, which means that we power these things, and then we can use the uranium request station that we've got over here. Like so. And now we should have... Now we've got 2 trains. What are you doing? I've got a train at each of those. Okay, fine. That makes... Yeah, that makes sense, isn't it? That's a thing that I do. Okay, I did want to module these. Let's give them both a speed 2 and a prod mod 1. Not that it... Do I want to module those? I don't actually know that I want to module those at all. I think what I could do is just beacon these. Because we can run beacons underneath here, and then this way as well. Because I don't think there's... that one went the wrong way, didn't it? Never mind. Yeah, and then this thing didn't get removed. Cool. You can have those and just put them back in the boxes. It'll be fine. Because I think we can still beacon these. In fact, yeah, we... Do I have those beacons on me? I don't think I have the beacons on me. Okay, fine. Let's find... The labs have some beacons that I can queue. Yeah, we can fit some beacons in here. Which is going to... Just mean we really... I mean, is there a way to fit the Covrix in here as well? I don't know that there is. It would be, but it would be nasty. Yeah, I think... I mean, nasty is what we're doing, isn't it? Nasty is on theme. Okay, so, let's proceed to make this extremely nasty for purposes of making the Covrix work, which means actually these things... Did the beacons only just fit? Because I kind of need, if I'm doing this nasty thing that I've just thought of, I kind of need a little more space for beacons to fit, and those are... Oh, there's a gap of 5 here. Yeah, there's a gap of 5 because the trains are 6 long, and then there's another gap of 1. So these things have spanning 5 in a way that doesn't usually happen, but will fit that beacon there, which is kind of weird. Does that mean if I have... Yeah, it's not quite going to work. Unless... but I also can't put... Yeah, so I do need these boxes here, otherwise... Why is this? Oh, because it copied, and then... Yeah, okay, fine. Cool, good job. You just go away again. You are disabled? Why are you not disabled? Because you are, because I didn't... Yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense as well. Good job. Always check your work. Yeah, so that's disabled. Because the thing I was trying to figure out is... One nasty thing I can do is put this here and filter for unprocessed uranium on that side, and then put everything else... Doesn't even need to be there. I don't even know that it needs to be there. It could just go like so, because everything else is just going in the logistics network anyway. Yeah, if this is uranium, that kind of uranium on the left, this thing goes into the logistics network, and then I'm not requesting any uranium by the logistics way over here, am I? No, this is entirely train fed. So the other thing I can do as a uranium recycling situation is request this uranium here. Just request a bunch of uranium, it's fine. You can also go on that belt, and this will mean that if I delete any builds or put them back or anything, this will recycle uranium out of the logistics network before calling a train. So the thing I was thinking about here is, can I get... if I have Coverix... If I have Coverix centrifuges on this side, I can do a nasty thing where this belt runs down the outside with all the things Coverix wants to get from it, and then we can also just have the Coverix machines put things back in the network, which is fine. And then we can request these inputs and moderate all of this by connecting these belts to roboports to see whether or not they run. The thing is there... I needed to move... Yeah, if I was going to beacon it... Because the thing about... Yeah, then the beacons plan... I planned on hacking this quickly together. I did not plan on spending quite so long on this. Is if I had the beacons even here... Like, if these... Really? 251 beacons. I thought I was fine for the number of beacons I had. Interesting. Because that's also without... Did I even put... I guess there's a decent number of beacons over here. Did these beacons go in? Oh, these beacons did go in. I did have the beacons in this grid already. Okay, fine. Interesting. We won't worry about that yet, because this build isn't even running. But the plan was... If I could have these beacons here boosting all of this stuff, then the issue is I either need these... If I move this back 2 squares, it misses the Coverix, which is a shame. So maybe we do, yeah, because I'm trying to figure out, like, with this setup here, I don't have... If I've got 2 centrifuges like so, I don't have the inserter space to put things on, to get things from this belt and also put them back on this belt to go into this splitter to go into the logistics network. But maybe what we do instead is we don't worry about running the belt underneath. We just accept that that's going to be a disaster anyway, and we just move this thing over so that these guys can move back, and then we can also have these things move back. And having done that, we can input and output like so. I somehow managed to cue a logistics bot in midair or something. So these are now doing uranium processing centrifuges, which will output onto this belt, which will run around the inside, be filtered off here. That's fine for definitions, somewhat curious definitions of fine. We can also move these things to here. And then this pattern is weird with one space in between these things because we're tiling 7 tiles long because we're coming off trains instead of 6 tiles long because we're doing things relative to a build, but that's also all fine. Do I even want... I think when this thing kicks all of its beacons off, I don't even think I need the speed 2s inside these centrifuges. I think we just can do just like prod mod 1s everywhere and then also prod mod 1s in these and make this do Covarex. And then I think for reasons, we do still want to feed Covarex from a belt, but the belt can go like that or something. And then we can have, yeah, we can just continue to make this work. It's fine. Put those in this thing, and now we can have another of these in this gap. Yeah, and then we can have another of these. Where exactly does this thing tile? And does it tile even in a way that's good? And the answer, why? I thought this would be 5. This is tiling by 7. This thing should be 7 long. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 6, so there does want to be a space in between here. Okay, yeah. Confusing myself with... Yeah, that's what we want to happen there. Okay, so we are boosting... What directions do these things go? These things go down, which is good, and then we want to do another ugly thing, basically like... should we do this with double request chests? Sure, why not? We want this to request the different kinds of rocks we need in order to be able to do the Covarex. And we don't have those rocks at the moment because none of this is running, but other than that small detail, this will make Covarex just keep running, which is cool. Let's plug in the rest of these things because we need these as well. All of these guys are currently running slowly because we don't have, like, we are over our beacon limit, which is a thing I was going to deal with anyway, but I guess we don't deal with it yet. The thing is, we want to control this differently because at the moment this is just going to be a giant mess of filling the logistics network with things we don't need that we don't want. So what we're going to do about that is, which of these belts? It's going to be belt on this side, and then also this belt, and connect that to a roboport, because... So we're making sure we get enough uranium here because this train is handling that. We only want this belt to run. Yeah, we want this belt to run if the logistics network is low on 238. Is that... Have I got that around the right way? Yes, we want this belt to run if we're low on 238, and we want this belt to run if we're low on 235. And between those, we should then be able to just... Yeah, process a bunch of this stuff. All of these guys will... I haven't thought about the rates at which these happen at all, but once those beacons turn on, it's probably fine. Okay, so, this is this reading logistic network contents? Yes. Yeah, so this is... Yeah, that's got all the logistics network contents. So if we have these kind of rocks less than, say, 400... Okay, cool. And then this belt, if we have these kind of rocks less than, say, 400, then also cool. And we currently... Okay, we are currently good for uranium. Okay. Yeah, so that actually as it turned out, kinda did what we expected it to, because we already had enough uranium, which is fine. We're now also recycling this uranium out. We're processing this consumed uranium. We're turning this uranium back into these fuel rods. If we ever have enough space to be using those fuel rods, yeah, E doesn't close that menu. Okay, Coverx is set up. Other than the fact that we don't have these beacons, this was kind of the next plan of the thing to do anyway, because now that we have this stone here, and we have the other big stone ceramic setup in the east, there should be some of these other stations. Here's the stone station. And I actually plugged this thing in between... I plugged this thing in between episodes, I think. I mean, it's all just full now. All of these things are backed up, which is nice. We're getting drills from the logistics network. That wasn't what I wanted to look at. I wanted to find... I mean, kind of. Then there's another one over here that we just need to tear down. I wanted to find the ceramics, because the ceramics, A, aren't running anymore, because we stopped... Let's get rid of this combinator, because then this station will be available and probably closer, and it will help us empty all of these ceramics out of these boxes. And then all of these beacons don't need to be here anymore. This steam going away is a little sad. This whole ceramic station is a thing that, oh yeah, that doesn't need to be here. And then we've also still got this oil running through here as well that would be good to get rid of. Yeah, this train here, it's turning up, it's taking all these ceramics. That's good, because all of this wants to go away now. We can put the lights and the power poles back with the grid blueprint later. We just want to get rid of all of these, because we don't need this build anymore. It's kind of small. It also frees up the beacon capacity, so we can now put more beacons in more places. You need to go somewhere else. All of those need to go away. And then let's put... I think I still have this grid blueprint. I was contemplating getting rid of that and then didn't. And then where's the lamps blueprint? That's the... Why are those roboports? Why are those roboports no longer aligned to the lamps blueprint? Did I have it around the wrong way? Where is the lamp blueprint? Yeah, I did have it around the right way. So that goes there, and we can put the lamps back, and so that's all fine. So that ceramics build will go away, which is cool. That means that we should have, when we do that, yeah, these beacons turning on again, which are delivering all the beacon efficiency, which means all these guys are super fast, and that's probably way more stuff than I need. And then also, I don't even need to limit this box, because this belt will control how much of the stuff we're adding. And I probably don't even need two of these here, but whatever, that's done now. So that's all fine. Yeah, then we need to put fuel. I need another train somewhere to be able to put that fuel back on a train in a way very similar to this station. Can I... And this is going to be kind of awful, which is kind of why I'm happy with that. Sneak this in here somewhere if I just push this steel feed underground. And I reckon the answer to that is going to be yes. So what does this interface look like? Where does it fit, basically? It fits right up against the thing. That's kind of the worst spot. It will go here. Okay, so let's force this in, because that's how this run works. Yeah. This here is going to be a decent place for it, because these belts can just go underground here, and now we still have everything working the way it needs to, kind of, while being a disaster, while having another... Not there, here? Yes, and then this one, it looks like it's surplus to requirements. Yeah, now we can have another train station here, which is going to have a very similar setup to this train station, except requesting uranium fuel and getting the reprocessing back, because we actually need to move that... We need to move that stuff around again for the Star Engine plan, as it turns out. Do I still have... Is this... Yeah, do I still have the train on this... No, I just took away that train. Because these guys, yeah, these guys no longer have their fuel supply, which is fine. There's still a bunch of heat in these pipes, and all this thing is doing at the moment is providing steam in this giant silo for basically just the train fuel build. This doesn't do anything else other than, I mean, it does, there are other side products, but the main thing it does is train fuel, and this entire build will stop when train fuel stops, which is the plan. But yeah, okay, so we can have another one of these here, and then I guess we just, I probably don't have a nuclear fuel station. Have train fuel, have uranium ore, have uranium. Yeah, I no longer have a nuclear fuel station, because I thought I was done with nuclear stuff, and it turns out we are not done with stuff. Okay, so train limit 1, this is going to be have nuclear fuel. Cool. And then this is going to be not that kind of nuclear fuel. We want in the fission stage. I think we're still using uranium-235. I'm not entirely sure. We could be doing things in a couple of different ways. Yeah, that one, and then we also get back reprocessed 235 as well. Apply change, no trains yet, cool, and then we want to do, yeah, basically this thing again. We're going to have one of these there, an actual provider here. We're going to put stuff on this train and off this train. Let's give it some train fuel as well. We are not currently connecting this to... Yeah, let's connect it here, and then let's also connect it over here, because I like resilient power connection capacities. So yeah, and then it was the fuel first, wasn't it? We're going to rebuild this train in the same way that it previously was. Yeah, fuel goes on first, fuel comes off later. Do I keep this? Oh, maybe for a different plan. Yeah, a bunch of plans that I'm not telling everyone about yet, but, you know, it's fine. Uranium-235 fuel rods. Let's request 200 of these things. This train probably doesn't need to be here very often, but I think we're still going to double up on that anyway, because, you know, everyone likes unloading trains faster. Those are things that are good. Okay, so we can have a bunch of train fuel here. We can put it on a train. I've got trains, so you can have that. I've got... Bots can bring wagons. Let's also not have that much of it. Is that 400? It's 400. Okay, fine. So this is in fact requesting enough to be a full... And the thing I'm not sure about now is, I'm probably making it fast enough. Am I making this stuff fast enough? Things that are unclear. But anyway, that's kind of, you know, the next of the things we wanted to do. Oh, there's another thing. I made a list of things that I wanted to do that I've forgotten about some of the earlier parts of. One of the things we definitely wanted to do for the rest of the Star Engine plan is that, yeah, okay, we'll do this now. We want to do Logiconnect, yeah, that's a word. We want more logibots. So this is still a normal roboport. So this can be read robot statistics, total logistics bots, export that as L for logistics bots. Sure. And then this inserter wants to run if L is less than, say, 1200, because I don't think I have... I'm pretty sure I don't have that many yet, but also it seems like a decent number. I really have no idea how many I need for the amount of stuff I'm doing, and also we're trying to centralize this anyway. But also it peaks because of how trains arrive here and need all this stuff dumped up or whatever. And then actually logistics box, and this one will run if tier 2 logistics bots. Where are tier 2 logistics bots? Are they fusion stage? Yes. Tesla construction bots, Hertz logistics bot. I did get this right by the way, didn't I? Yeah, this is the logistics bots one. And then this is going to run if logistics bots are less than, say, 600. Because I want a lot more logistics bots. And then now we need to... That wasn't close, it's fine. Over here somewhere we need to go back to automating just regular logistics bots, because the upgraded logistics bots are made from the regular logistics bots, and we don't have... You making 2 stacks of logistics bots? Yeah, that's fine. Actually, just make 1 stack, because you're an intermediate thing, you only get turned into other things. That's fine. Okay. Making more logistics bots. Am I going to do the same for construction bots? Not yet. Have I got a train? Have I got the other silo, the other electric engines I needed for the silo? Yes, okay, so let's make this other silo, for which I didn't really have any plan for I just, like, wanted more stuff. And the fact is I'm still short on RCUs. Am I short on RCUs because of red chips? No. I'm just short on RCUs because I'm not making enough RCUs. Okay, so that's a thing we need to address before we do all of this, but basically I think we just want to, like, grab all of this again and just slap it in here and just be happy with how that's going to play. I mean, why not? How could this possibly go wrong? Actually, I think what we want to do at this point, I mean, we've kind of just doubled our rocket production, except we haven't really, because... Go there. And yeah, we haven't really because we're still ingredient limited. What we have done is we have kind of nearly doubled the buffer of space science we'll deliver, because these two will always run. Actually, is there some of these? Yeah, I was trying to figure out, because bots will take the science from the labs that are closer, so maybe some of these bots, I think some of these labs will end up grabbing from these preferentially, and some of these other labs will end up grabbing from these preferentially, which is all still fine. Like, I think I might want to resequence this so that all of these look at the logistics network for how much space science is in the logistics network, rather than in these 2 chests in particular. And then maybe also these ones also want to look at the logistics network. What are these connect? These are just checking space science. Okay, so I could actually just go... where's one of these? Here's one of these fancy things. Advanced Roboport. Yeah, we're just going to dump an Advanced Roboport in the middle here. No particular reason. Then we can have... Instead of this inserter checking this pole, we can have this inserter check the Roboport network. Less than 6k. And then I think we actually want to increase these numbers. I think we want to increase this to like 10,000. Yeah, so all of these guys are now still kind of stopped. And these guys will look at both kinds of... Yeah, they will look at both sections of Roboports. And then I think we want to do the same thing down here as well. Yeah, so let's just unhook these things from what they were connecting to. Where does this one connect? This one connects over here, so all of that we can kind of simplify. Simplifying is a thing that I like, he said, while making everything more complicated. And then we could just also... Hopefully this fits. Yeah, sure. So these things have got all the configuration to have... Yeah, so we're tolerating slightly more space science in the grid. These guys are all still... Oh, this one is also still only... Actually, I think this... Yeah, this does want to check specifically the space science that's in its own boxes, because... Actually, the stacks are so large that it doesn't matter. We're not making so much of it. But the idea of this silo getting a satellite because I don't have enough in the logistics network, but not having enough space in these chests, seems kind of bad, but this is all fine. Have you launched any rockets yet? You have not launched any rockets yet, but you are on 82 rocket parts. Okay, fine. So that's the thing we wanted to... So, yeah, we did want to... I wanted to go and yeah, discontinue the other ceramics as well, but I think the problem I'm going to have with that is the other ceramics isn't in the same grid. The other ceramics is the other ceramics in the same grid? Is this the other ceramics? It is. So yeah, we want to discontinue that as well. We've already got rid of the steam. We want to get rid of all these things, so we only use the other main ceramics. Let's also, because we deleted the previous combinator, there's probably a train stuck at, yeah, a ceramic station with all these things being empty. Yes, we're going to get rid of these at this point. Get rid of all of this stuff, and then put all those power poles back because it's the grid. So I'm not even particularly worried about that train sitting there for a while, because there were, like, we've had other trains providing the ceramics. So yeah, this will also mean that, where is this? Is this one here? Because we deleted those steam engines. Yeah, all of this stuff can also, yeah. So this train will be advertising its, train station will be advertising its availability, even though it might not have enough to put on a train. But that's fine, because it's about emptying out the station chests, so that we can just get rid of all of this stuff and free up all these beacons. Freeing up all the beacons is a big part of the plan. Get rid of all of those. Haven't deleted any of the roboports. Put the... not those, this one. Put the power poles back. Put the lamps back. Does this need lamps? Yeah, let's put lamps here. Why not? Lamps can go there. Okay, so we are... Are they? Oh yeah, they definitely will, and it definitely will use that station, because the red chips over here that are short of plastic, as it turns out. Okay, so maybe we're not going to be calling that ceramics. You go somewhere. Do I worry about figuring out why I don't have plastic right now? So here's a plastic station, and I'm low on... Yeah, I thought I might be low on gas. We are in fact low on gas. That was going to be the next thing we were going to kind of look at anyway, but we're still kind of taking along for the moment. I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, let's go back and, of the things I wanted to do today, also go and cull the other stone station, which is already mostly discontinued. Yeah, there's like a bit of this stuff over here, but that needs to... the rest of that needs to go away as well. Have I done all the things I want to do? We've done logibots, and we're discontinuing the ceramics and the stone. We've got the silos and all the uranium stuff. I think the only other thing, yeah, I think that was most of the stuff that I wanted to do, kind of to set up for the star engine thing. And this is, yeah, we're gonna do the same thing here. Although we don't have radar coverage of this spot, because the base is silly like that. So we're gonna grab one of these radars and drop it here temporarily, because we're getting rid of this combinator so that this station will always be available and pick up the rest of the stone. And we are also over here to just, you know, cull the rest of this. We are making all of this stuff better by making it not exist. Actually, there's not even that much stuff here. Okay, I think we can just also get rid of this, and then just get rid of, yeah, just blast this whole thing. Just unpack all of it, and then put the edge tile off rail back, because I think we killed some power poles, and then also put the lamps back, because I think we killed some lamps. And yeah, that will be a couple more beacons freed up. I don't think I needed the stone, because we've already got... Let's go and have a look at the other stone, because we haven't actually... I think there was a thing I wanted to change about that as well. So yeah, all the bots are doing all of that kind of stuff. They're probably all pretty happy. Actually, we're just doing a little loop, yeah, because that was never that far away. Yeah, so this is giving me now 4 red belts of stone, but in a kind of weird way, in that these 4 rock generating things are making a belt of stone that just goes into this wagon, and these are not mixing, which is kind of a weird thing to do with train stations, but also, by hypothesis, these things are ratioed to be able to give us a full red belt of stone anyway, so I can always guarantee that all these 4 red belts are full, as long as I've got drills, which are logistic spots, so I don't think I need to worry about that anyway. But it's also just struck me, like, this is in the whole, hey, UPS reduction, can I do this with fewer trains, with fewer splitters, with fewer pipes, etc. And it's also just struck me that I can probably just do that and not even have splitters here. I don't even think I need to worry about... Yeah, and then this one can go like so, and like these boxes will fill up front to back, but why is this one a different spot? This one went under the pole. This one did not go under the pole, so I think we're going to just redo that slightly as well. Don't get hit by a train, because that means that we can standardize all of this. So this is going to be kind of weird, because it's going to preferentially load stone front to back, but also whatever, it's going to be completely fine. Actually, could I do that? I'm wondering if I could have the belt run on this side and then double back around, so that I could have splitters, inserters on this side as well, so that this train would load at the rate of 1 red belt plus all of these, but I don't think we bother. And I think this is still fine. Like, this box is going to fill up first, but especially as the ceramics have their own stone source, my logimol has its own stone source, my landfill has its own stone source, as long as these things run and back up, it will all be balanced and fine. And I don't even know if I'm doing this going forwards. I might just, like, if I need a red belt of stone for, say, purple science, I might just drop in this pattern and just make it on site and not worry about trains at all. Okay, fine. Okay, so all of that is pretty much done. Let's check on the let's actually not do that first. Let's go, because the other thing I wanted to do was go to... Yeah, all of the stuff that we're thinking about is kind of... Actually, let's not go there first. Let's go to the core and see if we have any more tier 2 speed modules that we can do. And it looks like we've got a jam. You are... yeah, I was hoping I would not have to worry about those red chips. And it turns out we might have to worry about these red chips. You just go away somewhere for a bit. And then... Okay, so all of the places that should be making gas, that's a rich water thing. This original thing down here, is this still running? Yes. Okay, so we are still putting gas here, which is fine. And then other places that should be making gas, that's the other rich water one. All of these, oh yeah, these aren't running because this is principally designed to produce sulfur and stop if we are getting enough sulfur, which we do, so that's not running, which I think I'm still fine with. This one should still be running though, isn't it? Yeah, so this one is running. We just need to make more gas. Is how that works. And then this one is also a thing that's designed to make acid that I don't think I need anymore, but whatever. Okay. We are not going to worry about that. We are going to see if we've got tier 2 speed modules, which we do. So grab all of these. What are we else? Oh yeah, and then those things. Yeah, those things as well. Okay, whatever. You have all those tier 2 speed modules. You like sort these out for me. Which is just going to result in you dumping them in the... Yeah, all of that happily sorted out. You go over there. I kind of wanted to be on that train myself anyway. Although I'm not quite going to the same place. We're going in largely the same direction, but I wanted to go over here to talk about Star Engine stuff. Did I get... I think I have everything I need to lay out what that plan is, even though I'm not in a position to do stuff about it yet. And this is all still running, so we're fine. We've got Yeah, have you launched rockets? You have not launched rockets. Why have you not launched rockets? Because you are not getting... I haven't boosted solar panel production at all, have I? But I think we're just waiting on blue chips, which is also a consequence of me now just consuming a lot more RCUs and then also not having the red chips to do that. Yeah, whatever. Blue chips are also a thing we're going to just deal with later. Have we made a bunch of... We have made 7 more logibots. Okay, fine. We're kind of doing stuff with that anyway. Yeah. So I think we're going to spend the rest of this episode talking about what I'm going to do in between, because I was thinking about this, basically this thing, and how much stuff I want to get out and how I'm going to do that. And yeah, I think we've got, I think I've got, have I set recipes on these? Protium to heated iron out, yes. And then I don't actually want either of these things here, because it struck me that this is still... Yeah, mostly for geometry reasons. Like, fitting all of this in is a huge pain. Which is, and you know, part of the puzzle game, that's fine. But also, 500 iron a second is already... I was, you know, yeah, there was this whole thing about me trying to figure out how I would even get that much stuff out. And I think we're going to kind of work backwards on this. So let's have... Okay, these are all going to go away, aren't they? Oh, give me some of these. Yeah, and I changed my mind about how I think I'm going to do that. I think if I put this stuff in tanks, and then... Do I have pumps? Do I not have pumps? Do I came all this way, talk about this, and then end up not having pumps? I hope the bots in this network have pumps, because I will need a bunch of them. There should be some over here, right? Do I not have radar range on any... All the pumps, yeah, the pumps are back here. That's super annoying. Okay, fine. Let's do this way then. Pumps. Yeah, and so I think the new plan, or at least the plan that I think is going to get most of the stuff done, is Star Engine recipes, make iron. Oh, yeah, we can make lithium now as well. That's going to be kind of a thing. If we do this... This is going to, like, I think this is going to be able to deal with... Oh, actually, this is only 500 a second. The fluid input issues for this aspect are going to be completely fine, especially with these pumps in play. But I think the way of, like, getting this out and getting this into the green chips build is going to be an issue. And I think what we do there is we just do a bots build. And we just dump all of this iron into the logistics network. We can then have a bunch of... Is this even going to be the right way around? Yeah, something like this is going to put a ton of iron, 500 units of iron a second, into the logistics network, and then we just build the rest of that with bots. And so, do I have enough space? Maybe I have enough space. Oh, if I move these things, yeah, we'll have enough space to talk about the rest of the thing that I wanted to do. Let's finish talk about Star Engine first before we talk about the chips. So this is going to be how we get all of the iron out of just half a Star Engine. Like, I think this is the other reason why I just want to use half a Star Engine at this point, because doing this on the other side is going to, like, vastly increase bot travel distances, because I can put the green chips build down here, but also we can't do this in this grid for reasons we're going to get to in a bit. But before that, we need to talk about how much protein we need to get in here, which is also a huge disaster. Like, I need 13,000 protein per second, and so I think I'm looking at something like... Oh yeah, pumps. Like, if I can do something like this... Like, because I've also only got 3 fluid inputs. But the thing I was thinking about is... I'm pretty sure I have oil refineries. Where are my oil refineries at? Yeah, if I have oil refineries set to the protein recipe, these things kick out 1,000 a second. and this is kind of stuff I was looking at before. They're like, this bit of the plan hasn't changed that much. These things kick at 1,000 a second, so if I need to power even one of these star engine arms at full rate, and it doesn't make sense to add the second one while the first one isn't even fully utilized yet, which means that the star engine core itself is only going to be half utilized, but oh well. I need to get 13 of these things pushed in here, or else the other thing that I do is, I don't have, I kind of want, I want to, if I give these 2 speeds and an efficiency, and then I actually want speed 3s, but the bots should have speed 3s, because they should be some of the standard grid kit. We upgrade that, and then we find one of these beacons, and we also beacon this, and then we power this beacon because we need to see, we need this beacon to work so that this crafting speed kicks off. But this, my lack of red chips has taken out some of the beacon capacity. But yeah, if we can get, do I also need to power this? Do I not have any power poles with me? I've got this one power pole. This is 2.5. Yeah, I think so. So the version of this where I had enough red chips, and it's kind of interesting that we don't have... Actually, let's just quickly check in the last hour. Has red chips... Yeah, red chips production hasn't really fallen off. It's still... Where's this other thing I don't want us to use? Yeah, so for a while it was unhappy. But we are still making, what is this, 3.6k red chips, which is still... So a yellow belt is 900 items a minute. A red belt is 1,800 items per minute. This is still basically 2 red belts of red chips. It's just not enough for what we need to be doing, so we need to be making more, which is why we are thinking about the green chips part of this at the moment. But yeah, if this is doing the tier 3 module boost as well, I bet lab speed has slowed down as well, hasn't it? Because we've lost the other speed boost to the labs. Oh well. If I can get these up to crafting speed 3, then I only need to get like 4 of these to get 12,000 stuff in. The issue there is that then these, where are the electric energy injectors? These things also only produce 1,000 hydrogen every 5 seconds. So if I want this thing to be running at speed 3, processing 3,000 hydrogen per second, I need 15 of these guys, which is a giant pipe mess. Can I? These things, yeah, it does not get crafting speed bonus from the beacons, but, and then the reason why we got these thermochemical separators, and the reason why we made nuclear fuel work again, is I was poking out, I was looking like, what's the other option for this? These things, if we do this hydrogen thing, it's faster. So I only need as many as I need. Like, these will do, without considering beacons. Spoiler, we can also beacon these things, which is what we're going to do next. These produce 1,000 hydrogen a second. These things also need 1,000 hydrogen per second. So this yes, rate could be a lot, this ratio could work out a whole lot easier. Then also, turns out that we can speed beacon these things. So this beacon here is giving this thing a speed boost. We're on crafting speed 1.5, which is actually, if we've got 2 of these, like 2 of these at this point will be enough to provide all the hydrogen we need for this guy. It does mean we need to figure out how to get 3,000 hydrogen in with pumps. And then we've got to get 3,000 protium a second out, also with pumps, which is a mess. So I'm going to do this definitely between episodes to figure out how all this pipe spaghetti works. But also, the other complication with this is max consumption, 180 megawatts, and it takes heat. And do I even have... I don't even have heat pipe with me, okay. Because the reason we've turned the nuclear stuff back on again is we need to also figure out, and we say we need to do a nuclear reactor thing to do, let's turn off my bot so it doesn't put it around the place. We need to somehow have nuclear fission reactors. Let's put this down so we can actually see it, because the ghosts aren't particularly helpful. We need nuclear reactors going into heat pipes, going into these thermochemical separators, which means that, number one, we need the uranium fuel again, which is a thing we automated again this episode. Also, we need, if we look at this thing, 180 megawatts. This thing by itself is just 60. So we need like a proper actual nuclear reactor with a bunch of neighborhood bonus stuff, because this is also, remember, this is also still one of these things, and I need one at crafting speed 3. Yeah, I need 3 crafting speed worth of these things to fuel the refineries at the rate that I want. I think we can, yeah, we can efficiency module these things, which is kind of a big deal, because this reduces the energy consumption in a super interesting way, because it doesn't free up power from the grid, it frees up how much heat energy I'm trying to take from the heat pipes. Because if we did this without the efficiency modules, 180 megawatts is 18 heat exchangers, which is going to really suck the heat out of these pipes and going to make it difficult to build, because we need to get 4 of these things in. Each of these things needs probably more than one thermochemical separator. The heat exchangers specifically on one side, so we have to, actually that's an interesting thing. Could we just go all the way around this building and connect these directly without heat pipe? Maybe. But then the question is, yeah, I don't think that works for a couple of reasons. Like, it's super interesting, but we also still need to get the fuel in, which we'll probably do with logibots, but also we need to get water in here as well. And if we are speeding this thing up to even at the moment, crafting speed 1.5, this thing still needs 1.1k water, and an offshore pump will deliver 1.2k water, which means we need to get 2 offshore pumps worth of stuff into this guy at a huge rate, either with more pumps, or probably what we might do is maybe a tank, or maybe it will even work with a regular pipe. But then taking whatever this pattern that we end up with here is, with all of this nuclear stuff, and figuring out a pattern where we can put offshore pumps directly here, and then building this on water, like we do with a regular nuclear power station, but also figuring out how to connect all these things up instead. So that's kind of the design constraints that I will take and look at and think about while the rest of this uranium-238 thing is going. But then let's also talk about the green chips plan going off the end of that, because I quite like it. Do we have, yeah, give me, upgrade these guys for me. I should have those in the network, because we're gonna do you know, a pretty normal green, yeah, coils directly into green chips thing, and we want to be able to fully beacon both, or fully module both of these, but also we're going to do a bots build, because we're going to put it near all of this kind of stuff. Let's build the rest of what I want to talk about here, and then we can talk about how we're going to power this thing. Because one of the things that I was looking at with these beacons is that there are particular places, it's not there, it's here? Yes, there are particular places I can put these beacons where I can have, it's not there. It's here. Yeah, there are particular places I can put these beacons where I can have a beacon hit 12 assemblers on one side, but then also another 12 assemblers on this side. And then this beacon pattern also copies, and this is going to end up with, yeah, we can just keep on spamming all of this stuff, and this is going to be the vast green chips bots plan. Doesn't actually work this way around. because the green chips need inputs and outputs. So we've actually got to do the green chips on the outside. Okay, so these are going to have to be request boxes. We don't have request boxes, never mind. It's not going to be here anyway. So we can do one stack inserter in here. Then we can have 2 stack inserters here. And then the green chips need an input and... yeah, they need inputs and outputs. I don't have any more provider chests. I guess all the provider chests are over here. These two are going to be providers. I don't have requesters either, but it's also fine. And we also don't want to request because we don't have any of this stuff. So this here is going to be the pattern that we use to build a lot of green chips. So this is going to be, yeah, if we power this on, we might be able to see how many green chips we get with this, but also I kind of needed substations. Do I have substations in this build? No, there was enough space that I didn't need substations. Okay, fine. We are going to need substations because... does that work, this one? Yeah, we've kind of got to go here. Yeah, there isn't space inside here because these beacons are 4x4. This takes up all the intermediate space. There's no space in here anywhere to get power poles in. And also this space is already taken up with all of these guys taking their direct insertion slots. So we've got to use substations to power all of these things. And then I guess... so we've got 2 substations worth of stuff here. Yeah, I don't actually think we have substations in the grid, so this all isn't going to power on. We are not going to be able to see... is that true? What we can do, actually, is... so having established that this is the pattern we're going to work with, we're going to get rid of a chunk of it so that we can... where's some power poles that I can queue? These power poles I should be able to queue. I want to power on... just enough of this so that I can see what kind of building speeds we get out of this thing. So if we power on all the beacons, we power on all the assemblers, the inserters don't really matter, we are getting crafting speed 2.3. Oh, it's also because we're still low on red chips because these things don't have their things yet. But yeah, each of these beacons will be hitting 12 assemblers on either side of this big beacon array. Yeah, we'll be requesting all the stuff in. We'll be providing all the stuff out, which means we need... this is also why we're making a lot of logistic spots. We need this probably located, you know, kind of close to where all these other provider chests are, but then we also need another version of the Star Engine that also does copper, which means we need another duplicate of this power station setup and all of these oil refineries in a place that can do all this pipe spaghetti reasonably efficiently. We then need a bunch of other train stations. We've now got a train that will do the nuclear fuel, but we need to like figure out where that goes again. We've then got, coming out of this as well, no excess protium. We need all the protium. Excess deuterium, whatever, excess tritium. So we've got another train station to deal with that, because this is making so much protium that it's probably worth capturing those other outputs. But then we also need somewhere that... yeah, there's 2 major constraints. Number 1, I need to be able to get a lot of water into a lot of thermochemical separators. And 2, I need somewhere where I can have a dedicated bot grid to just manage all the logibots doing all this bot build of this heavily beaconed green chips thing, which is at first why I was looking at building this grid all the way out to, yeah, this spider, out to this lake over here. But I don't know if, like, looking at it now, I don't know if this is going to be, I don't know if this is going to do what I need it to. And what we might do instead is, okay, first of all, this other green chips thing here can probably also replace... there's one really bad green chips build that I'm not happy with, which is this one, which is currently taking in 2 red belts of... it's just 2 red belts of material. Like, I could do that with with this thing here, these things down the middle could also just be red belts. We could just do like a pretty normal red belt thing down the middle here. We could maybe belt weave or something on the edge, but I reckon this chips build can, first of all, a smaller version that is belt fed and doesn't, where is it? It's over here? Is it this one? No, that's the purple science, which means I think I've gone, no, I haven't gone far enough. It's this one over here, yeah, this one here, and this is still providing red chips, which is, you know, kind of thing. Maybe we just, yeah, I think I cut this off here and let this drain, and the copper we won't worry about. Yeah, and then we can, yeah, these aren't even doing coils at prod mod at 40%. These are still doing reduced speed of coils, and we've also got another 10 tier 1 beacons in there that we can replace with like 3 tier 2 beacons. So yeah, so we can first of all replace all of that. There's kind of enough space. It won't need to be as big, but I think the place I'm looking at, and this is also why we landfill this stuff, is this water over here. Like, it's closer than the other lake. It's not too far into the first grid. To where this big new grid will be. Where's the blueprint for that? This grid here, yeah. But so I think I build a bunch of this out during the episodes as well. But somewhere around maybe this block here, we actually just like have this be build it on the train grid, but sever it with its own roboport grid, so we can landfill exactly the pattern we want to be able to put a bunch of pipes around this thing, and then also have it be its own bot grid to make these bot travel things effective, and then also have enough space to fit in 2 star engines with a version of this for iron and a version of this for copper. And that all looks like it's going to be a bit of a mess and kind of intricate, and I think I'm going to do that. I think this is going to be one of the things that I just do between episodes, and then maybe don't set up all the trains, because there's still trains set up to do, which might be interesting. But at this point, yeah, this is basically the thing we're going to go and do, and then come back and go, hey, I did it. Here's this giant disaster of bot-driven green chips builds, which has 40% productivity, is bot-driven, is getting a lot of work done with not very many beacons, especially when we get enough chips to keep the tier 3 beacon core running all the time. And then we'll have 500. All the ratios going to plan. We will figure out how to get 500 iron per second and 500 copper per second. Actually, we're going to use all the copper. We're not going to use all the iron because of the way ratios work. But yeah, 500 copper a second, bot built into green chips, put on train stations, all of that kind of stuff. Kind of out to the west, make a new grid, good times, lots of things to build. I think we got most of the stuff done I wanted to. There's now just, we're going into kind of the late game thing of, there's a lot of intricate builds to do that I want to muck around with to make sure that I get actual solid throughput, because these things need a lot of stuff. And so there's probably going to be editor mode stuff, and we'll come back when most of the layout is mostly done. But yeah, we're now a third of the way through this other tech. I want to check on the labs and see if they have also died because of the red chip air quotes shortage. No, this is still going fine, and we are now banking red and green science again in a way that's fine. I think we're low on purple science. I think I'm just making a lot more yellow science than I am making purple science, but also that's kind of fine. New silo has launched a couple of rockets. That's fine. New exotic material silo has not launched many rockets, but that's also fine. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we'll just continue with stuff. We hopefully next time, I think we'll have pairs of episodes again. Like 2 episodes ago, we kind of set up the plan for the ceramics, and then last episode we plugged it in, and then this episode we've kind of set up the plan for the star engine iron and copper green chips bot build, and next time we'll come back and have it mostly built and plug it in. Yeah, good things. Lots of Star Engine, lots of bot builds. Crazy times.